Hello, kids. Welcome in. It's just after high noon. May I be the first to say a good afternoon to you. It's 12:05 to be precise. My name is Matt Murphy, and conveniently, we begin the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is Wednesday. It is the first day of May, also known as May Day in some parts of the world. It is 2024 still, believe it or not, and it's episode 564 of our proceedings today, and I can't wait to get into the content of the show and let you know what's going on around your world. It is the Libertarian Lunchtime Hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and we're here till 3 o'clock. We hand off to the drive. At that time, information-fueled and opinion-driven, all live and all local, baby, from early in the morning until late in the evening on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So, obviously, we will continue to discuss and dissect the numerous amounts of protests that are going on college campuses, primarily around the United States of America. There is a protest that's happening, an encampment, if you will, on the campus of Vanderbilt University. Small though it may be, isolated though it may be, we will discuss that. I'm seriously considering going out to Centennial Park this afternoon. I've not made a final decision on that because I don't want to speak out of turn, but maybe, just maybe, because apparently there is a rallying cry for those pro-Palestinian individuals to get on out to Centennial Park at 5:30 this afternoon and let your voices be heard. Well, I'm all about that. I'm particularly interested in exactly what message you want to send to the people of the state of the city of Nashville, state of Tennessee, or the United States of America with regard to your support of an organization that has as its stated purpose the destruction of the state of Israel and the death of all the Jewish people. I'm curious how you distinguish that message between the message of Free Palestine. We have a call out to Representative Afton Ben. Representative Ben, Afton's been on the show before. Bell K is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers. Let me do this real quick, and I'll get into that in just a moment. You can find us on a variety of platforms. You can find us, obviously, on the radio on 99.7 FM. You can also find us anywhere you stream music or news or information. We're there. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and off we go. You can also locate us on Supertalk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I participate on Supertalk TV. I enjoy participating on Supertalk TV probably much more than you enjoy. Man, I got a little something going on. You know what we need in this studio? You don't happen to have a tube of caulk, do you?
No, I just ate my last one.
One good tube of caulk and I could fix all of this.
I got some Scotch tape.
Well, that would go far.
Oh, I need duct tape though. That's where I'm feeling.
I'm trying to waterproof some of this place though. Anyway, where was I? Supertalk TV. I participate on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. The voice of LK is just that, a voice. He does not participate on this television side of things, warrants and all, but he does offer us titles, and episode 564 is entitled
Matt Murphy. Hang on his every word, especially if you're a liberal. It will only help.
That's true. The liberals love me. They like to pretend that they don't, but they do, including Afton Ben. Do you think Afton would come back with the right subject?
Probably. I mean, it's not like she didn't get thrown out last time.
No.
You had a good conversation with her. And
I thought we did too. She wants to end the grocery tax. I want to end all taxes, or at least most of taxes. She wants to end the grocery tax. I'm all about that. Just find the money somewhere else other than taxing us somewhere to supplement what you lose out of the grocery tax. I'm all about that. She has reacted to an event that's happening later on this afternoon, and she also says that she visited Vanderbilt's encampment yesterday. This was 3 hours ago. Visited Vanderbilt's encampment yesterday, well organized, grounded in liberation politics, programming offered every day at 5 p.m. I think she said the quiet part out loud. Solidarity with these students and all of those across the country standing up to state violence and calling for the end of genocide. The end of genocide. So I guess it is the rallying cry amongst stupid people or ignorant people You can pick which one you want to be. You're one of the other. You're one or the other if you think that what the Israeli government and the IDF is doing is genocide. If the Israeli government and the IDF wanted to commit genocide, they already would have. They don't. They're desperately trying to avoid the loss of innocent life. Sadly, the enemy that they face has decided to hide behind innocent people, and no one, Afton Ben included, will call them out on it. At least no one on the political left will call them out on it. But she promotes the Vanderbilt encampment, and I don't guess she specifically promoted the 5:30 event at Centennial Park, but I'm sure she would if she finds out about it. I'm thinking about going out there today. There have been violent crashes or clashes, I should say, that have erupted all over the United States of America, to include UCLA late into the evening. I watched as the New York Police Department. What a great job they did last night. I was watching it live as it happened. They descended upon the campus of Columbia University in Hamilton Hall. They retook the hall. That hall had been barricaded. That hall had been fortified. They had chains. They had bicycle locks on all of the doors. They had moved, machines, and they had moved refrigerators and soda machines. Snack machines, vending machines was the term I was looking for, and it wouldn't come up for some reason. They had moved vending machines in front of the doors to fortify their position within Hamilton Hall, as if they were going to stay there for an extended period of time. You might recall that they were demanding. Did you see the clip where the lady was demanding food?
Yes. If we have a meal plan, you have to bring us food.
Right. I mean, we are demanding food for students that have a meal plan. You know what? I think the students that have barricaded themselves, and there weren't a lot of students, by the way. The students were escorted out along with the other outside agitators, but there were more outside agitators, it seems, than there were students. But the students that have a meal plan have a right to the meals in the meal plan and yada, 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 yada. No, I think you have made a decision that you're going to violate campus policy, violate the rules of campus, and deny the rights of other students on the college campus their freedom of movement. I mean, out at UCLA and other campuses on the West Coast, they were actively denying certain students, Jewish students, access to public areas. No, you can't come in here. To which many of those students said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I can't come in here. This is the quad. I've got to go to class. My class is over there. I'm walking this way. And they would violently physically prevent students from walking across the quad. How do you defend that? What sense does it make to defend that? It doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to defend that. I've been begging for anyone willing to come on to defend. If you want to know what the defund the police movement looks like, look at some of the riots that happened at UCLA last night. There were hours of confrontation between pro-Hamas agitators and pro-Israel defenders. These activists clashed for about 3 hours, and there was no law enforcement intervention. According to ABC 7 Eyewitness News, people were beaten, pepper sprayed, and hit with fireworks in the hours-long riot, and the police did not show up, because that's what defund the police looks like. The police are detested, they're defunded, and they become defeated. That's the answer. This is what defund the police looks like on your college campuses out at UCLA. Congratulations. You made it. You did it. Happy now?
The woman that you were referring to earlier, who, she was talking about getting food brought to them. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't done a deep dive on this, so I'm not 100% sure this is factual, but I have a high degree of confidence in it. They did some research to find out who she was. Her name is Johanna King Slotsky. She is a paid instructor and PhD candidate at Columbia studying, and I quote, theories of the imagination and poetry as interpreted through a Marxist lens. End quote.
What?
Theories of the imagination and poetry as interpreted through a Marxian lens.
Well, what's her name again?
Johanna King-Slotsky.
Well, here she is.
Why should the university be obligated to provide food to people who've taken over a building?
First of all, we're saying that they're obligated to provide food to students who pay for a meal plan here.
Okay, per Columbia University, as of yesterday, campus dining was open. The John Jay Dining Hall, open. JJ's Place, which is another area where you can get food, open. So anyone can leave Hamilton Hall and go and get food at the dining facility per their meal plan.
I'm a little peckish. Can you run over to Tin Roof and grab me a salad, please?
I'll do what I can, Bill. Yes.
They're open, so if you could just run and get me a sandwich.
To allow it to be brought in, I guess it's ultimately a question of what kind of community and obligation Columbia feels it has to its students. Do you want students to die of dehydration and starvation or get severely ill, even if they disagree with you? If the answer is no, then you should allow...
No, we want you to leave Hamilton Hall. And I expect once you snowflakes get thirsty enough or hungry enough, that will happen. Oh, we didn't have to wait for that because about 4 hours after she made this little speech in front of Hamilton Hall, all of them were removed.
It's crazy to say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking for. Like, could people please have a glass of water?
What planet are these people living on? You get to descend on an area where you are not allowed. You trespass in that area. You fortify that area. You prevent others from being able to access that area. You take the facility hostage, and you take 3 janitors temporarily hostage, by the way. And then you demand food be brought in. Can we get a little something vegan? Because we've got a couple of people that, hey, by the way, Terry's gluten-free, everybody. Terry's gluten-free. So Terry needs a gluten-free meal. Maybe like a cauliflower crust pizza for Terry. Terry, is that okay? Do you have a non-dairy cheese on the pizza? Because we're looking for... Meanwhile, the cops are locked and loaded and getting ready, baby. The snowflakes had no idea what was coming. Now, I was a little bit worried, and I expressed as much last evening. My concern was not for the snowflake students. The snowflake students have been mollycoddled all of their lives. And it's pretty obvious that they've been mollycoddled all of their lives based on this so-called professor's comments with regard to their demands for food. I was concerned that there were enough agitators amongst the groups, and these agitators have nothing to lose. They want to see the world burn. They want to see America burn. That's what George Soros is paying for. And so I was a bit concerned that they would take the opportunity to fight back against the police officers in the hopes, and this is the danger for the cops that are descending on these college campuses at the request of the colleges and universities themselves in an attempt to disperse these illegal activities that are going on campus that are ultimately terrorizing some of the students on campus. My concern is that some of the agitators will attempt to push the police into doing something that will turn out tragic. Either property destruction or, God forbid, the loss of life, and then immediately the tinderbox will explode across the United States of America. That's what George Soros wants to see, and his ilk. They want to see rioting. Who here disagrees with that? What other than that do they want? They claim that they want a divestment or a disinvestment in Israel. So you're demanding that all Jewish money be removed from the campus of Columbia University? You're demanding that you divest yourself of all Jewish interest? Well, how are you going to make sure that there are no Jews on campus anymore? You're going to put a star on them too? How much does this have to resemble Nazi Germany prior to World War II for all of us to recognize what's going on here. There's one group of people that is invested in genocide, and it's not the Israelis. What other than that does Free Palestine mean? Sincere question. But our good friend continued.
Then you should allow basic, I mean, it's crazy to say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking for. Like, could people please have a glass of water?
Yes, you can have a glass of water. Here's what you need to do to get your glass of water. You need to get off your pampered ass and get out of this hall where you don't belong and go get some water.
Or if you're too lazy to do that, go into the bathroom and cup your hands under the sink.
I mean, they haven't cut off water.
They did put themselves in that very deliberately, in that situation and in that position. So it seems like you're sort of saying, we want to be revolutionaries, we want to take over this building, now would you please bring us food and water? And
Nobody's asking them to bring anything. We're asking them to not violently stop us from bringing in basic humanitarian aid.
They're stopping the delivery of food.
We are looking for a commitment from them that they will not stop it.
Okay, so did you hear the end there? The reporter, and good for them, says, it seems like you're saying we want to be revolutionaries. We want to take over this building. Now will you bring us some food? We're not asking them for that. We're asking them not to violently stop food being delivered. And then they say, well, have they done that? Well, no, but we're worried they will. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore now, do you? Because your actions have consequences. And the big boys decided to show up. The New York City Police Department. And kudos to the New York City Police Department for the manner in which they carried out that exercise and the fact that it did not, in fact, turn violent last evening. Congratulations to them. I wish I could say the same thing about the UCLA campus, but we cannot. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll take your telephone calls. Jim, you'll be first up in Nashville. 615-737-9986. Would love to hear from you. Yes, university unrest and violence is on the top of the list, but there's much, much more to discuss. We need to stop allowing any individual or group associated with the nation of China buy property in the United States of America. I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about the DEA rescheduling marijuana, taking it off or attempting to reschedule marijuana and what that might mean for all of us. Cameron Smith coming up in the 2 o'clock hour as well. We're crossing our fingers for Afton Ben. Maybe she'll respond to my request for an interview. It's all to come on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Look, I've got meals from Savory Spice that can be made so easily and so quickly, you will have it done before DoorDash can even deliver. Here's the deal, friends. This is economical. This is healthier than going out to eat, and Savory Spice can make it so much easier, I should say, some of the options that they have to spice up your food game. Savory Spice is obviously local, and I love talking about Holly, David, and the rest of the team. We would love for you to stop by either store, the one in Franklin just off the square next to Gray's Pharmacy, obviously, L&L Market in Nashville off Charlotte Pike. Tell them what you're looking for. Tell them what level of experience you have. Tell them you can either be really, really specific on a spice or you can be more general. And ask about the Spice and Easy. See what they did there? The Savory Spice and Easy meal starter kits. They have some delicious recipes, and they tell you everything you need. They tell you exactly how much it will feed. You get, for example, the taco soup is a great example, or the Korean barbecue is another good example. Korean barbecue has 4 servings, and you can make it in 10 minutes. Taco soup, your shopping list there, 6 servings, 25 minutes, and the taco soup is there for you, and you don't have to worry about measuring spices or any of that because they've already done it for you. Stop by and see the gang at Savory Spice. You'll be glad you did. Restock the cupboard or get something specific for a meal tonight at Savory Spice. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for the Glock Store. You know, the 4th annual open house at the Glock Store is coming up June 1st, and I want you to be a part of it, not just because they have a $1,700 Glock that they're giving away, not just because they have thousands of other dollars in prizes that they're giving away. You know, that's the dollar amount and the total prize count that they've got, and it is incredible, some of the prizes that they have giving away at their raffles. But I want you to see the best and the brightest around. The Glock Store has long been that. I knew it from the first moment I walked into the showroom. What a gorgeous showroom it is. It's big, it's bright. They've got friendly helpers that can assist you no matter your expertise level when it comes to guns or the Second Amendment. They have accessories. They have clothing items. They have the Shoot 270 rooms as well, which are just incredible. The Shoot 270 rooms can help get you experienced in your training levels. You know, owning a gun is only one part of it. Training is another big part, and shoot270.com can assist you in that regard. So mark your calendar down for June 1st. Starting at 10 a.m., I'll be there. Dan Mandis will be there. Chris Hand will be there, of course, and we want to see you as well. Not just for us, but also the incredible prizes being given away at the 4th annual open house at the Glock Store, or stop by today. Glock Store is on Airlane Drive, just off of Elm Hill Pike. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Glock Store. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 1228. Glad to have you with us on this Libertarian Lunchtime Hour. Jim is next, as promised, in Nashville with a thought on the issue of Palestine. Hello, Jim.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it. You've been very kind to accept my calls in the past, and you're one of the few people I listen to. But if you really want, this is my opinion, if you really want to know what's going on there, I think you need to read Communist Manifesto, because one of the tactics that's been implemented right now in the United States is the same tactics that the communists used to take down Russia and take over the country and make it into the Soviet Union. And so I recommend that people also, read Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels. And then there's also another book called Communist America Must It Be. And it probably tells you more than you really want to know about what's going on there. As far as the Palestinians are concerned, I'm very familiar with that. I spent some time in Tunisia when the Palestinians were in exile there, in their exile government. If you go back and look at what happened in the early 90s with Rabin and Arafat, you'll see that they had worked out what's called the Oslo Peace Accord. And things were working very well until Rabin was assassinated. I don't think there's going to be any peace there. I don't think that's part of the plan. I think it's a major distraction. I think all of this is a plan to destroy our country, quite frankly. That's my opinion. I think there's a cabal behind it. And I thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much, Jim, for the call. I do believe that this is not a grassroots, but an AstroTurf effort. You've seen these pop up on college campuses, and that is not to say that college students going to school at these various campuses are not a part of it. They are the useful idiots. College students, and I hope that we can remember, if you've ever been on a college campus, I remember back in the day, you want to be a part of something. You want to feel like you're a part of something. You're young and you're dumb and you're idealistic, and you feel like you can alter the world in a manner of your own choosing, and that everyone will sing Kumbaya and hold hands and agree with you. Now, I'm not saying that being idealistic and being hopeful that there will be better times ahead and the world can be a better place is not good to hold on to. It is good to hold on to. Now, let's be honest. We all want America and the world, by extension, to be a better place for our children and our grandchildren. But doing so, intentionally ignoring the bad people in the world, or pretending that if you're just nice enough to the bad people in the world, they'll be nice to you, is ignorance at best and stupidity at worst. And a lifetime of experience can educate us on this front in a way that 18-year-olds cannot possibly comprehend. So they are easily taken in by the bad actors that descend upon their campuses and explain to them that they need to do something to shake up the world. And what Israel is doing is wrong. And they feed them with a lot of carefully crafted garbage, and they lead them down a bad path to the point that they've got their checkerboard cloths on and they're screaming Free Palestine. But these are not, by any stretch, grassroots efforts. They're astroturf efforts, and they're funded in large part by George Soros and his ilk. George Soros wants to see America burn because he understands the best way to get America to the point of socialism or fascism is to see its major cities burned down to the ground. And if you accomplish that, then you can push America over the edge like many other countries have been pushed over the last 40 years. Great example is Venezuela. It's 12:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was speaking with Brink Fidler last night of Defend Systems, talking to him about the excellent operation conducted by the New York City's finest, their police department there. You know, Defend Systems, they have a lot of experience in the world of law enforcement. Brink was a part of the Metro Nashville Police Department for 18 years. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm specializing in physical security consultation and active violence mitigation. That's a fancy way of saying that if you are a decision maker at a school or a corporation or a healthcare facility or a law firm or a manufacturing facility or a corporate headquarters, anywhere where people gather, ultimately, then you owe it to yourself a call to Brink Fidler. Allow him to sit down with you and talk to you about what he can do for your staff and your facility, because he can do a lot. They've trained well over 30, and this is old copy, 30 middle school or Middle Tennessee schools, I should say, and I bet you that that's probably at least doubled by now or even more so. If your child's school has not received this training, you need to demand it. Its training is far more than checking a box for corporations or checking a box for your business. Active violence events are on the rise, and often violent events between parties spill over into the public arena. You need to protect yourself. You need to know what to do. Hope is not a plan. It's time to get trained. DefenseSystems.com. That's DefenseSystems.com or 615-236-6484. 236-6484 for Defense Systems. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you. Thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give us, I'm truly appreciative of your day. I'm appreciative of how you spend your day, and I'm glad that you spend some of it with us. Thank you so much for that. 615-737-9986 is our telephone number. That is a direct way to communicate with us via the phones. I open those up probably more so than anybody else on Super Talk. I love speaking with you. 615-737-9986. You can also communicate with us on the membersnutrition.com super text line. That is open, available, and running for you. Members Nutrition super text line is the same telephone number, 615-737-9986. Text us at your leisure. Do you remember this? Do you remember when Joe Biden was asked about the protests on college campuses and whether or not, this is just, it feels like forever ago, but it was just like 8 days ago, where a reporter, it's difficult to ask, or difficult to hear rather, but he asks, do you condemn the anti-Semitic protest on college campuses? 20 seconds, listen.
Condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
So he condemns everybody. He condemns the protest. Well,
I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians and how they're being.
Should the Columbia University president resign?
Right this way. I didn't know that. I'll have to find out more about it.
So I think he misheard the reporter. The reporter asked him, should the Columbia president resign? This is like 8 days ago. This is on April 22nd. Do you condemn the anti-Semitic protest on college campuses? And Joe Biden essentially said that there are many fine people on both sides. That's what he said. I want you to listen to this again because there's an update coming from Karine Jean-Pierre, she of the impressive hair. Have you seen her hair today, Bill? My goodness gracious. There's a montage. I think the montage was presented by RNC Research or maybe townhall.com. There's a montage of Karine Jean-Pierre saying that I'll get back to you, or that she, it's not her, it's her circle back. Jen Psaki did the circle back. I don't have anything for you. I don't have anything on that. 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 And the beautiful, it's one thing to play it on the radio. It's another thing to see it because you can watch Karine Jean-Pierre's hair grow.
So they actually got them all in chronological order?
I think so. I think they did. Or you just do boop, 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 boop. It's like watching one of those, I took a picture of my kid. Well, no, I'm thinking I took a picture of my kid every day for 10 years. And then they put that together and you watch the kid grow. It's like watching her hair grow, or a chia pet for that matter. But real quick, one more time with Joe Biden.
Condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that.
What program is he talking about? It is. I mean, that he said. She said, do you condemn the anti-Semitic protest on college campuses? And he said,
that's why I've set up a program to deal with that.
I've set up a program to deal with that. What program is that, Mr. President? How's that working, Mr. President? Can we get a follow-up on that program that you discussed? Sincere question. Does anybody know what program he's talking about? And how is that working?
That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. Is that not a there are very fine people on both sides moment?
And it's very telling that he felt the need to include that when it wasn't part of the question.
Did not have to answer that. So Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that today during her press briefing. Here's the lovely and talented Karine Jean-Pierre.
You mentioned that the president has taken questions on this. Again, respectfully, he hasn't. He did take a question where he said he condemns those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. I know you've been asked about that, but since you brought up Charlottesville, what do you say to those critics who say that he is trying to have it both ways, that he's essentially, trying to talk about both anti-Semitism and what's going on with the Palestinians?
I would say to those critics is no, he's not doing a both sides scenario here.
So the answer to this, when reporters bring this up, so the president, where was he last night? Where is the president of the United States? We have civil unrest. America is devolving and dissolving before our very eyes in certain areas of this country. Where are you, Mr. President? Do you not feel compelled to speak on this? Do you not feel compelled to condemn this? There is lawlessness on college campuses. There was a 3-hour riot that went on at UCLA last night, a riot that the police did not intervene on. George Washington University in Washington, D.C., your backyard, dude. George Washington University 3 or 4 days ago asked the D.C. police to intervene on their campus. And you know what the D.C. police told them? No. No. You know why they told them no? I'm not making this up. I know. You think, Murphy, you have to be making this up. I'm not making this up. They told them no because it would be bad publicity. No, we're good, guys. Y'all handle it. Y'all have got this covered. Y'all take care of it. Hey, D.C. police, we need some assistance. Nah, we're good. Campus of UCLA, I don't know if they called the police or not. I wouldn't be surprised if the LAPD, nah, we're good. Thanks. No, we got enough trouble.
When seconds count, the police are just one PR decision away.
You know what? we talked to our crisis management team, and they talked to public relations, and public relations told crisis management, it's probably not a good idea for us to get involved with any of this to protect and to serve our publicity. In the meantime, Karine Jean-Pierre just keeps lying about the facts of the matter. So reporters have gotten wise to this, and they're wondering, where is the president of the United States? Why is the president not speaking on this? Because he doesn't have anything to say that helps him. The right response, 80% of Americans agree with Israel. 80% of Americans agree that October 7th needed to be responded to. 80% of Americans understand the totality of the events going on there. 80% of Americans understand that as of 2006, the Gaza Strip was controlled by Hamas, and the West Bank was controlled by what was left over of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and Israel left them to their own devices, protecting their own borders. They had the Palestine that they claim they want to free, and the only thing they did with it, the only thing they did with Palestinian aid is to create bunkers and tunnels and areas of armament to attack Jews. And they consistently hide behind innocent people. They consistently remind us of who they are. And so, of course, Joe Biden can't speak to this because he's afraid. He's afraid of college students. He's afraid of what will happen to him if he loses them. And so he doesn't care about the courage of any conviction that he might have had. In the meantime, Karine Jean-Pierre assures us that the president has spoken about this matter.
Has the president spoken to Mayor Adams since the NYPD became involved in dealing with them?
Understand the question, don't have anything to read out as far as a conversation with the mayor from the president, but I think we've been very, very clear about what we're seeing on the ground.
Pardon me for that pause there. That was on me. So the question was, has the president spoken to the mayor of New York about the involvement of the New York City Police Department? And the answer is, I don't know. Where is Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? This cuts beyond politics, does it not? Do we not expect a president will be on top of something that's affecting the entirety of the United States of America? Every corner of America is affected by this. At Columbia, at Harvard, at Yale, in the University of Texas. I mean, there are some, Vanderbilt, for heaven's sake. Yet nothing. And then this, just to reiterate, the reporters are on this story better than they have been on many others involving the President of the United States. And there was a follow-up regarding the President and his commentary on the protests.
Respectfully, you didn't quite answer it. The question was, why hasn't the President been more forceful in talking about the protests? You talk about how he's talked about anti-Semitism. Specific on the protests, why hasn't the President been more forceful in that?
And I hear the question, Gabe, but respectfully, the President has been no other President has spoken about anti-Semitism than this President.
But that's not the question. It's the protest.
And I'm answering it in the way that I believe is the best way to answer your question, which is the President has been very, very clear. He's been clear about this. He's taken action. He put forth a strategic plan to counter anti-Semitism, more than 100 new actions, and not just taking actions, but is actions that across the administration. This is a whole of government process, right? We have the Department of Homeland Security that's involved. We have the Department of Education that's involved. We want to make sure that we are dealing with this, not just words, not just speaking out, but taking action.
The level of nonsensical gobbledygook coming out of that person's mouth is insulting to the point that it ought to piss you off. I don't know if it does. Finally, we have reporters in the White House briefing room, and they've been getting more forceful over the last year or so because they're frustrated. This has been the most closed-off administration in the history of the United States of America, with good reason. Joe Biden cannot present himself before the reporters. He cannot present himself before the American people outside of a controlled environment because he is unable. He's unable to process questions. He's unable to answer them in any cogent way. In a way, if Karine Jean-Pierre was just a little bit better at her job, I might feel bad for her. If she was not such a lying, dishonest POS, I might feel bad for her, because she is put in an impossible situation. The question is, why hasn't Joe Biden been more forceful speaking against the pro-Hamas mob on college campuses? The answer is because he needs their votes. And there's no other way that he can win a re-election other than being pro-Hamas himself. That's the real answer. The answer that she gives is such an insult, I think you need to hear it one more time.
Respectfully, you didn't quite answer it. The question was, why hasn't the President been more forceful in talking about the protests? You talk about how he's talked about anti-Semitism. But specific on the protests, why hasn't the President been more forceful in that?
And I hear the question, Gabe, but respectfully, the President has been no other President has spoken about anti-Semitism than this President.
But that's not.
All right, so no other president has spoken about anti-Semitism more than this president. And they did so when it was convenient for them to do that. But the reporter then follows up, that's not the question. It's the protests.
That's not the question. It's the protests.
And I'm answering it in the way that I believe is the best way to answer your question.
What? I'm not answering your question. I'm going to say things that make it look best for this administration. I'm not going to speak to the fact that the president has been absent with regard to responding to these protests. I'm not going to explain to the American people, although perhaps I should, that the president is walking a fine line here. He's playing, as my grandpa used to say, Joe Biden is playing both ends against the middle for his own purposes. Joe Biden is more concerned about his reelection than he is concerned about the safety of Jewish students on college campuses. Period. End of discussion. Full stop. And I don't say that very often. Joe Biden is more worried about votes than he is about the safety of Jews. Can I put any other finer point on it?
Which is the President has been very, very clear. He's been clear about this. He's taken action. He put forth a strategic plan to counter anti-Semitism more than...
Did it work? Did it work? Look at what's going on in America. Did it work? More coming up, 12:52. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. so you want to get there early. Of 2 tickets. Hello, kids. Welcome back. Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased you've decided to join us today. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative. We have 3 full hours every single day, Monday through Friday on these airwaves. Also found streaming on any platform of your choosing and on Super Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch is up and running. Yes, my hair is getting a lot longer. No, I don't. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to make it, Belle. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Come on. I have faith in you.
I made a promise some months ago that I would not be cutting my hair until we had a new president-elect. I have a lot to do this summer. I have an RNC to go to. I'm going to the Republican National Convention.
Well, that's part of finding out who the new president is.
I understand that. I mean, I have an opportunity to go to the Democrat National Convention.
That'd be more fun.
I think I would. You think?
Well, I mean, who wants to go to a museum versus the circus?
That's a great point. But I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Come on. You got to make it. You promised.
If I get to the point where I can put it up in a ponytail, maybe.
That'll take about 2 years.
It will not take 2 years.
Year and a half.
It will not take a year and a half. I'll be able to do man bun by.
You said ponytail, not
July. Well, a man bun is just like a baby ponytail.
No.
What is the difference? Ponytail comes from the back.
Yeah.
Man bun goes on top?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not doing the on top part. What am I asking you? I mean, look at you. What am I asking you about?
Because I know.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you know. I know you know. You wake up in the morning and it's all in your mouth. I know you know.
No, that's why I put it in ponytail when I go to bed.
Man bun?
No.
Okay.
Never.
So if you're watching on Super Talk TV and if you're wondering why my hair's so long and disheveled, that's the reason. I made a promise to the listening audience that I would sacrifice for you and not cut my hair until we have a new president-elect. One way or the other, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. America dissolving before our very eyes. My first question, where the hell is Joe Biden? Well, it seems that the White House can't answer that question. We almost got to this, to the meat of the matter in the White House press briefing today. Karine Jean-Pierre will not speak on President Joe Biden's silence on the anti-Semitic protest because, well, they can't. Is it because he's terrified of losing his own voters' support? This question was posed to Karine Jean-Pierre.
I understand that President Biden historically has spoken very forcefully about anti-Semitism. But this week, he's not. He's MIA. Is he that worried about losing the youth vote with these protesters?
I'm going to be mindful. You're talking about youth vote. You're talking about 2024. No.
Young people.
I have to say what I have to say, and just give me a second. So I'm not going to speak about somebody's doorbell. Is that a doorbell?
Yeah, that was an alarm.
An alarm. Okay. All right. And I'll speak more broadly. I can't speak to youth and support and voters. That's not something I can do from here. The president has taken a lot of policy actions here that he knows that young people care about. And a lot of those actions are popular with those young folks, whether it's giving a little bit of breathing room with student debt relief. We made an announcement today, matter of fact, and we are going to continue to do that because we...
Freebies. They got freebies.
We think it's important as families or as an American and you coming out of college and you want to build a family, buy a home, you have the opportunity to do that and not be crushed by student debt. The president understands how...
Well, you notice how she's avoiding the question. I kind of noticed that.
Important it is to deal with that issue. Climate change, something that young people really, truly care about. One of the crises that the president said he came into having to deal with was the climate change crisis. As the president has taken more...
You notice they're not calling it, they stopped calling it global warming a long time ago. And then they began calling it climate change. And now they've been calling it a climate crisis for some time. Is my mic lower than her voice? It sounds that way in my headphones. They're desperate to change the subject, and the subject they like to change it to when it comes to the young people is this climate change nonsense, which used to be called global warming, which is then called climate change, which is then called climate crisis, which is now called a climate emergency. Beckery, yeah. That's true, Albert.
Have taken aggressive action to deal with climate crisis. Look, I can't speak to youth voters or their support. What we're going to do is continue to take actions that we believe helps all Americans.
So she didn't answer the question, and so Peter Doocy, he takes another bite at it. And
you mentioned what he said in 2017 after Charlottesville. He said about Trump's response then, Charlottesville for me was a moment where I thought silence would be complicity.
Yeah.
So how do you explain his silence this week?
The president has not been silent on this issue when it comes to hate speech, anti-Semitism. He launched the first ever anti-Semitism strategy to counter anti-Semitism, something that no other president did. No other president did.
A school building at an Ivy League campus got taken over.
And we call that out, and we said that is not peacefully protesting. Taking over a building at a university or college is not peacefully protesting. And we've been very clear. Taking more than 100 new actions to deal with anti-Semitism in this administration, no one has ever done that before.
None of it's working. Even if I took her at face value that any of this was designed to work, it's designed to be performative in nature, none of it's working. Even if we give her everything at face value, the president's done all of these things, we're seeing more anti-Semitism in the United States of America today than since when? Publicly calling on the eradication of the Jewish people. That is what Free Palestine means. You have college professors that are standing before the assembled masses and celebrating October 7th. You want me to play you the clip? I can play you the clip. And Peter Doocy is exactly right. This president has said not a word about it this week. He has been missing in action. Where is he? Why does he not speak publicly about it? Why is he not forcefully speaking on it? Why has he not traveled to New York? Why is he not talking to the protesters themselves? Why is he not talking to university officials? Why is he not talking to the New York City mayor? Why is he not talking to UCLA? Why is he not talking to the American people? We should demand more. And on the issue of the universities themselves, this is of your own making. You have done this to yourself. I say to you, calmly and respectfully, that over the last 50 years, you have become petri dishes of activism. You claim to be bastions of free speech only to limit the amount of speech that you allow from certain speakers and from certain points of view. If you believe in the First Amendment, if you believe in allowing all access to a freedom free of threatening terroristic acts, free of anti-Semitism, then you will course correct on your university campuses. That's up to you. If you recognize that your original charter is designed to welcome free thought and open expression and not limit it and not direct individuals to one anarchistic position or another, perhaps if the universities themselves look inward, they can course correct. But that's up to them, not up to me. You have two choices. You can either course correct or you will die. And that is up to you. You have to deal with that internally. Sean is next in Lebanon. Hey, Sean, thank you for calling in. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Good. How you doing?
I'm well.
Hey, just every time I listen to you play the clip of KJP, and I cannot believe I'm going to say these words, I would actually take Jen Psaki, Peppermint Patty back. She may circle around a lot of times, but to actually have somebody that could stand at the podium and actually give a statement and not have to read verbatim what she's provided, I've never seen anybody as abysmal as KJP. I mean, she gets the question, she's like, yeah, Matt, heard the question, thanks, but I'm going to answer whatever the hell I want to answer. It's disgusting coming from the White House.
No, it's sad, but they know it. There was an internal report recently, Sean. I don't know if you saw this reporting. I think it was on Fox News, where there was an attempt to oust Karine Jean-Pierre. And
no, I missed that.
And individuals in the White House pushed back on it because they were fearful of what would happen to them if they pushed out a black lesbian female in favor of John Kirby, which is the next obvious choice to be White House press secretary. And so they cannot have a white male who is able to do the job because they have an African-American lesbian who is unable to do the job, who is now in that position because of entitlement and a desire to box check. They didn't bother to check whether or not she could do the job or not. And now they're kind of hamstrung. I said it yesterday, they're hoisted by their own petard, you know?
Right. I mean, the handful of times that she filled in before Psaki left the White House, you could have seen the handwriting on the wall then. I mean, she just absolutely stunk at it. And then, a couple of weeks later, they name her as the press secretary. It's like, all right, what are you guys smoking in the White House? Or did Hunter leave more stuff than we thought?
Well, I mean, now obviously she's unable to do her job, and Sean, thank you. I mean, she and the reasoning behind keeping her is as simple as I just laid out. There have been internal discussions, and those internal discussions have been leaked to various news organizations regarding why she remains in that position. She is an absolute clown show. And sadly, it doesn't seem to be getting any better with time. And I don't expect that it will.
Here at home, there's been some dramatic images really across the country over the last 24, 48 hours, especially the Columbia, UCLA last night, University of Madison, Wisconsin, other campuses. Has the president been monitoring this? And why have we not heard directly from the president about these protests that have taken over institutions of higher learning across the country, the police responses, instances of violence? Why have we not heard directly from the president?
It's a great question. And I can answer it simply. I should start answering the questions from these press conferences. Bell, you should start clipping out the questions and I can offer the answers. The answer is as simple as this. He's unable. Why has the president not spoken on this? Because this is a matter which has to be dealt with in real time. We do not have the ability to prep the president of the United States adequately to make him look capable. And because of that, he's unable to speak to it. I saw a report, and it went largely unnoticed by major media networks. The White House Correspondents' Dinner was last weekend. I intentionally did not make mention of it because I think it's just a garbage dog and pony show, and I have no interest in it, although there were a couple of funny jokes. I get it. Joe Biden spoke for roughly 10 minutes at that event. Bell K, would you care to guess how long they prepped him? Now, obviously, they wrote all the jokes for him. They wrote all the punchlines for him. They had in big, bold letters, pause or pause for laughter for him. He was responsible for none of it. How long did they prep him?
See, I almost feel like you're throwing me a trick question because it was either a lot or none.
Mm-hmm. 5 hours over 2 days.
Good Lord.
Was the report that Joe Biden prepped for a 10-minute meaningless joke-filled speech. They prepped him for 5 hours, 2 days.
Did he at least get the pauses in the right place, or did he spit out the word as part of the speech?
Well, he did as best he could. In the meantime, Jen Psaki does have an answer.
So just a couple of things. The president is being kept regularly updated on what's happening.
He's being kept on life support, so the president's being kept on. But
directly from the president.
So just a couple of things. The president is being kept regularly updated on what's happening. As you just stated, across the country, he is monitoring the situation closely. So is his team. And I would just add that no president has spoken more forcefully about combating anti-Semitism than this president.
Why doesn't he condemn Columbia University? Why doesn't he condemn UCLA? Why doesn't he condemn these college campuses that have devolved into chaos and violence? Why doesn't he condemn the anti-Semitism? There was an incident that was caught on video, and this is one of so many, where there was a Jewish student that was trying to get to class, at UCLA that was prevented from crossing a public area known as, a lot of college campuses have what they would call the quad. This student was prevented from crossing the quad. There was another video in which two students, completely unaffiliated, and they said as much. They said to these pro-Hamas terrorist fronts, hey, we've got nothing on this. We don't care one way or the other. We just want to get to class. It's that way. They were told, no, you can't cross here. Why is this being allowed? Free speech is one thing. And your right to free speech is sacrosanct in the United States of America. This is not about limiting hate speech in America. Sadly, and I say this with sadness, we should embrace hate speech because that's how much we believe in freedom of expression and freedom of the individual. And so while we should push away from the idealistic nature of some of this dialogue from an ideological standpoint, we should embrace the idea that you are allowed to show us who you are in the United States of America. What you're not allowed to do is limit freedom of movement in public spaces. You're not allowed to threaten or intimidate groups of individuals in these public spaces. And obviously, you're not allowed to limit access to buildings like happened on the campus of Columbia University. This is a big deal. And the reason that I speak about this at the length that I do is because it is an inflection point in the United States of America. We are dissolving in our major metropolitan areas, and we are dissolving in our major college campuses, on our major college campuses before our very eyes. And our president of the United States has no ability to speak on it or to lead. Travis, hold on just a second. I see that I have a timeout to take. You'll be next on the Matt Murphy Show, 615-737-9986 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. A couple of additional notes, and we'll get back to your calls. Your call's very important to the conversation, obviously. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. You can either call us or join us on the Members Nutrition Super Text line. Brown University, another Ivy League school, reached an agreement with anti-Israeli protesters, pro-Hamas, I would suggest, protesters, on its campus to end the encampment there. Demonstrators had said that they would close the encampment in exchange for administrators taking a vote to consider divestment from Israel in October. The compromise appeared to mark the first time a U.S. college has agreed to vote on divestment in the wake of the protests. What does that mean? Sincere question. What does that mean? Divestment from Israel. The devastation and loss of life in the Middle East has prompted many to call for a meaningful change while also raising real issues about how to best to accomplish this, according to Brown President Christina Paxton wrote in a message to campus. Brown has always prided itself on resolving differences through dialogue, debate, and listening to one another. I cannot condone the encampment, which was in violation of university policy. Also, I've been concerned about the escalation in inflammatory rhetoric that we've seen recently and the increase in tension at campuses across the country. I appreciate the sincere efforts on the part of our students to take steps to prevent further escalation. Anti-Israel, I would call them pro-Hamas, activists on campus celebrated the news of the deal, which then brought an end to the encampment. Last November, I should note, Paxton was caught omitting references to Jewish students on campus in a speech after she was heckled by pro-Palestinian activists. Serious and sincere question. What does that mean? That you want an elimination or a divestment from Israel on college campuses? Does that mean that you're no longer going to take Jewish money? Does that mean that you're no longer going to take Jewish students? Jewish honorariums? Contributions? Scholarship? $53.48 puts it this way. On the membersnutrition.com super text line. As a Jew, thank you for asking this question, Matt. Is the president's initiative working? This is the question my fellow Jews need to ask themselves. Here's another question. Have we forgotten what the beginning that led to the murder of 6 million Jews and millions of others looked like? Where did it begin? It began in part on the campuses of German universities. Brian wants to know, is it true George Soros has bought Cumulus Radio?
Just our station.
Yes, he's Brian, I have a big announcement for you. I am George Soros. No, that's not true. George Soros has made an effort to purchase numerous radio stations around the United States of America. Cumulus Radio is not a company that is for sale. We just had a visit from our CEO, Mary Berner, and she was asked this question directly about efforts on the part of some to purchase radio stations like ours, and she has made assurances. Now, obviously, we choose to believe these assurances that we are in no way for sale, and they have taken action. Cumulus, it's my understanding, has taken action to prevent any sort of hostile type takeover from occurring. That said, I am George Soros. Nice to meet you, Brian. Brian's laughing.
You're not ugly enough to be George Soros.
Well, I don't know about all of that, but Travis is next up. Hey, Travis, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, George.
Well,
No, man,
if
look,
that were
I
the
got
case,
a,
if that were the case, I'd be saying Guten Tag.
True. True.
What's up,
Hey,
Travis? What's
I
on
had
your
an
mind?
idea for a new slogan. Hey, Joe, where'd you go? I think we ought to put that on stickers below the Let's Go Brandon.
Or the I did that, pointing to the gasoline prices.
Right.
I like that. Hey, Joe, where'd you go?
That's right, because I was watching that riot last night, which is what it was. And I told my wife, I said, where the hell is Joe Biden?
I mean, and here's the thing. Lest we be accused, Travis, of being a little inconsiderate of Sleepy Joe and his downtime. I mean, after all, he's of a certain age where he probably has to get in bed by, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So
Right.
even consistent with that, where is he today? I mean, all kidding aside, where is he today?
Exactly.
What's he doing?
Where'd you go, Joe?
Where'd you go, Joe? I love it, man. I'm doing the bumper. I'm doing the bumper sticker, and I'm giving you no credit, Travis. Okay.
That's not fair, but yeah, go for it.
Well, you know, I've got to live up to my namesake, George Soros. 68. Now everybody's asking me for money because they think I'm George Soros. Hey, George, can I have $1 million, please? No, you cannot. Like a good socialist, I take your money and keep it for myself. That's how socialism works on the higher end. Kamala Harris is out and about today. Kamala Harris is in, Mamala. Did you hear that garbage from Drew Barrymore? Drew Barrymore, there was a time where I liked Drew Barrymore. Called her Mamala. It's so insufferable. It's so, I mean, it's not for me. I mean, I get that. Her little daytime talk show, it's not designed for me, and I have to understand that when I watch some of these clips.
Yeah.
Like, I would never sit down and choose to watch Drew Barrymore or any of these other nonsensical talk shows.
But it's just the vomitous way that she interacts.
That's exactly
like,
it.
she did the same thing with Dylan Mulrooney, where she got down on one knee. It was like, we need you. We need.
I know.
Shut up.
It's gross. It's and it's not limited to Kamala Harris. She does this with a lot of people. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Can I get a cackle or two? We got a cackle. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, boy. That's quicker than I thought it would be. A little cackle action. So, Drew Barrymore does this with everyone, but we need you right now. We need Mamala. Mamala. It's like, shut up. I mean, that's just gross. Next thing you know, I mean, I fully expected her to go all Willie Brown on Kamala Harris, if you know what I mean. Oh, you know what I mean. It's 1:33 on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 136. Matt Murphy in progress. The Matt Murphy Show on your radio, and we thank you for getting us. We thank you for making us a part of your day. I do sincerely appreciate that. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN if you'd like to be a part of the show. We have other matters to discuss in the news today, including the rescheduling or the potential rescheduling of marijuana. The federal government is looking to reclassify pot from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug, frankly, something that I believed should have happened many, many years ago. As a small L libertarian, I have long advocated for the decriminalization of marijuana offenses. And frankly, I have researched medical marijuana to the point that I have no problem with the advocacy that is regularly brought forth with regard to the efficacy of marijuana in certain cases regarding its medical use. And frankly, I do not believe that it's up to the government to tell you what to or to not put into your body, particularly those things that are naturally occurring. I understand the concerns that we have with fentanyl, methamphetamines, and some of these other chemical-based psychotropics. I have a lot more concern. Let me put it this way. I have way more concern with what our doctors are prescribing in doctors' offices around the United States of America than I do with marijuana. And I know that that probably bothers a lot of you. And I understand that. It's America. Different strokes for different folks. Now, this is not an advocacy for marijuana. I'm not an advocate for pot. I'm not an advocate for alcohol. I'm not an advocate for any drug. Nicotine, caffeine, any drug. But I am an advocate for freedom. And that freedom boils down to the personal liberty that you ought to have to make personal decisions about what you consume in your own body, understanding fully the real-world consequences of doing so. So while it is the Biden administration shilling for votes, and I get it, trust me, Biden's not doing this because he has a heartfelt belief in it. He's doing it because he thinks it might get him a few votes.
It's the same reason that he decided to dump his menthol cigarette ban, because he's more interested in getting the black community's vote than he is about their supposed health concerns.
Oh, right. Where did all of those health concerns go before he eliminated the ban on menthol cigarettes? Oh, these are chemical-laden cigarettes and nicotine's bad enough for you and we can't have this. And the black community goes, excuse me, what? You're taking away my Newports? You're taking away my Cools?
And the whole thing just reeks of him going, well, you're not smart enough to make your own health decisions. We need to do it for you.
Did you ever smoke?
Oh, yeah.
How long did you smoke?
From the time I was 18 till about 42, 44.
Oh, wow.
No, even longer than that. Because it's only been like probably 50, because it's been a few years now since I quit.
How did you quit?
Cold turkey.
Boy, I bet you were fun to be around.
It was I quit numerous times. And every time that I quit, I would chew your face off if I could get a cigarette. And for whatever reason, the last time I quit, now when I smell it, it just makes me want to Ralph.
Have you seen the Mark Twain quote about quitting smoking?
No.
He says, "I don't know what everyone's complaining about. Quitting smoking's the easiest thing I've ever done. I've done it 4 or 5 times in the past week alone."
The thing is, though, is like as a grown adult, I understood the consequences of the stupid action I was taking. I knew it wasn't like somebody was hiding the fact from me that cigarettes are bad. If somebody out there, regardless of color, is smoking, at this point, you can't sit there and go, "Oh, I didn't know it was bad for me."
I remember when I first got into radio back in 2000, talk radio. I was in radio before then. There was a big issue going on about the cigarette companies paying back, recompensing those who had gotten lung cancer. And I was a smoker at the time. I smoked for 17 years between the ages of 15 and 32. I quit, like you, cold turkey, but mine was money motivated. I've told you that story. Guy offered me $1,000 to quit for a year, and I said, I'll take that bet. And I did. And I've been quit ever since. But for 17 years, I was a smoker, and it was a freedom issue, and I was addicted to nicotine. I was a drug addict. I'm still a drug addict. I'm addicted to caffeine. That is a drug addiction. Let's be clear. But I long said that I would be willing to advocate for individuals to be paid off by the tobacco companies, but here's the type of individual I'm talking about. You tell me the person that smoked until the time that they realized or recognized or read on the side of the package of cigarettes that it was bad for their health and they immediately stopped because they had no idea it was bad for their health. Well, those people don't exist, obviously. Just tell me what I'm in for, and we'll move forward from there. But I don't have an issue with the declassification or the reclassification of marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug. I'll tell you what that means in just a moment. I want to get to Ryan real quick. But for those curious about what it means to reschedule this, I'll fill you in right after this. Ryan is next up in Clarksville.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Ryan.
Great. I love you guys. I love what you do. I was just calling to say that, the left likes to call the right, racist this, racist that, but they support an ideology in Marxism and socialism that's killed hundreds and hundreds of millions of people throughout history. So I don't know where they're getting off what their point is.
Well, obviously you point out the fallacy in their logic. They claim that their way of thinking, their political ideology is designed to protect or to save people from themselves or to save people from, bad actors, whether it's evil corporations. They always create boogeymen that they claim the government's going to slay. I mean, the Venezuela, I bring up Venezuela a lot because it's the greatest modern example of how this all plays out. When Hugo Chavez took over power and eventually seized control of that entire nation by gutting and destroying the Constitution of Venezuela, he did so claiming that he was doing it for the people, right? It was all about, I'm doing this for the people. These are your resources. These are your rights I'm protecting. I'm protecting you from the bad boogeyman. I'm protecting you from the government. And on and on he went. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Healthcare and everything. No, free health care and all that stuff. And now they can't even get gas there. And they just marked it illegal to mark somebody's cause of death as starvation. In Venezuela.
I mean, it's just incredible. I remember a number of years ago, they were eating the flamingos at the zoo. They ate the flamingos at the zoo. Flamingos can't taste that good. I mean, I hope you get the breast meat and not the leg.
One of the things I find extremely entertaining is when I'll see a socialist with a Che Guevara shirt on, because when he was allied with Castro, he was noted as one of the most racist and homophobic members of the revolution. He'd put a bullet in the head of somebody who just admitted to homosexuality. I'm gay. Bang. Bye-bye.
Well, and everything old is new again. You have groups on college campuses in the United States of America calling themselves Queers for Palestine. Queers for Palestine. There's 64 nations in the world that still make homosexuality illegal. Half of those 64 are on the continent of Africa. And most of the other ones are in the Middle East.
Well, that's where I'm confused. If you're a queer for Palestine, does that mean you jump off the top of the building, or do you still get pushed?
Oh, I'm sure it's your choice. If you're an ally, they'll give you a choice in the matter, cool. I'm certain. I mean, what do you think they would do to you if they had dominion over you? Makes no sense. And, of course, you can't get an answer from them because they just scream and yell at you when you try. So the change in classification, just to finish up the thought, for decades marijuana, I mean, obviously marijuana's addictive, and it was seen as having no medicinal value. We now know differently. Study after study after study demonstrates that it most certainly does have medicinal value, particularly with regard to CBD oil and its efficacy on individuals who have seizures. But it has much more value than that, and I've gone over all of the studies, and I've had all of the arguments over the years, and I'm well-versed in the subject. The reclassification could potentially have marijuana going from having the same criminal status as heroin and LSD to be on par with drugs more like acetaminophen, codeine. The change does not make marijuana legal. It does make it a Schedule III drug. Schedule III drugs are controlled substances. Now, this hasn't happened quite yet. It has to go through a variety of different checkoffs. The types of drugs are subject to various rules that allow it for some medical use. The rules outline the federal criminal prosecution of anyone who traffics in the drugs without permission. Schedule III drugs include things like anabolic steroids and some acetaminophen codeine combinations. Marijuana is currently considered a Schedule I drug, believed to be highly dangerous, addictive, and not for medical use whatsoever. Marijuana has been classified as Schedule I since the Controlled Substances Act of 1970, some 54 years ago. It's 47 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. Men's health is important, and men, we don't take care where we should. I mean, men like to, as I like to say, whistle past the graveyard, right? We like to pretend that things aren't going on in our bodies. Well, if you have something negative happening in your body, if you've noticed a lack of motivation, energy, or drive, if you've noticed that you don't have the get up and go that you once had, it's possible that it could be a number of factors, and it's possible one of those factors could be T-level. Have you had it checked? Have you been to the Tennessee Men's Clinic? It's so simple, men. You can get back to energy again with a visit to the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and this visit works. Thousands of men, just like you, have gone to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They've been checked out by their qualified and certified urologist. They've been around since 2014. Evan Bass and his team since that time have helped people like you get back to energy, get back to life again. Whether it's bedroom activity or other energetic pursuits, they can help you out at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And it starts with an initial consultation and a visit. They'll check you out at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com to find out more. Or give them a call and schedule an appointment today. Midtown location is available for you. They also have a brand new location in Cool Springs. Tennessee Men's Clinic, 615-208-9090. 208-9090. Get back to other issues of the day coming up in just a couple of minutes. It's 1:54. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. In the 2 o'clock hour, we will discuss the effort on the part of Marjorie Taylor Greene to bring to the floor of the House of Representatives a vote as to whether or not to vacate the chair. That would be to vacate the Speaker's chair in the Speaker of the House chamber. We will discuss and tell you the ramifications of this, and I'll explain to you why Marjorie Taylor Greene is off the mark here. Coming up in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I've been telling you for a while about Kraft Body Scan, and I thought we should get some information from the proverbial horse's mouth. Sean is calling in from Kraft Body Scan here in Nashville to tell us all about May and what they have going on in May and what they do for folks in our community. I know with personal experience because I've had a full body scan at Kraft Body Scan. And Sean, I so appreciate what you guys did for me more than anything else. You gave this hypochondriac a little peace of mind. I bet you hear that a lot in your business. Hey, Sean, how are you?
Hey, great, Matt. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we do hear that quite a bit. And that I would rather people err on that than hearing about people worrying about what they might or might not find. Because the reality is, if we have something going on in our body, it's already going on. And unfortunately, we'll end up finding it one time or another.
You know, I love one of the messages that you sent out for this month of May, and it was regarding some of the cancers in our bodies. And I know May is National Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and I want to talk about that in a moment. But 3 cancers that we brought up: breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer. There was a time where these were killers because we only recognized them after we became symptomatic, and oftentimes that is far too late. Nowadays, we look at those cancers as imminently solvable because we know to do preventative work. Well, that's what you guys at Kraft Body Scan are all about. It's all about prevention, and it's all about awareness long before one becomes symptomatic, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same methodology as going to get a mammogram yearly or going for an annual physical. We're taking a time stamp and looking at your body and its function at a space and time, and then coming back and looking at it again. The best way you can possibly ensure that you can be as healthy as you can be, or if there is something that's come up that it doesn't end up being catastrophic, as you mentioned, is that by checking. And so we make sure our patients can do that. They have control of their health care, and that way they can implement the tools they need and the many different medicines and the many different procedures that we have available to us, so it doesn't make those things a death sentence. So I like to remind people that you don't need a referral. All you have to do is call Sean or one of his team members over at Kraft Body Scan to schedule an appointment. What is that like when we schedule an appointment, when people come in to see you? Just walk through what they can expect out of the process, Sean. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we provide a comfortable space. The great thing is because we position the way we are, we end up keeping the appointment spaced out so you're not coming into some overcrowded lobby. You end up getting a couple of forms that you fill out very quickly about medical history so that we know what you've been going through, what you've got going on, and what we need to be looking for. We check you in. You get an opportunity to talk to a health consultant that's going to talk to you about the scan. It's going to talk to you about what we offer. They're going to go over the reports with you so you know what you're going to get in a few days. And then you scan, and the scan is about 5 to 10 minutes at best per person.
And you don't have to take off your clothes. You're clothed when you do these scans, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and it's great because it's not in some claustrophobic tube. It's wide open, and it's just in and out. It's very, very simplistic as far as the time frame and the commitment to it, but it gives you a great tool to be able to look inside.
Well, and guys, trust me, and Sean knows this because he was there when I was there, right? And I did my full body. I'm a claustrophobic guy. I freaked out a little bit one time when I had an MRI. It's nothing like that at all. I mean, you don't even go. There's not really even a tube. I mean, there's a ring, but there's not even a tube. So you don't have to worry about it from a claustrophobic standpoint. And right now, you've got. I mean, the price point on the couple's heart and lung scan was already ridiculously low at $149, which is pretty incredible. But you're shrinking that for the month of May to recognize National Skin Cancer Awareness Month. Is that right? $119? Do I have that right, Sean?
You had that perfectly right, Matt. Yeah, we're actually doing that across the board for all cancer screens. So for any of those cancer screens that we offer, we are reducing that by 20% in honor and to recognize National Skin Cancer Month and to give people more awareness of the fact that they can actually do this. As you mentioned earlier on, not having to have a doctor's order sometimes can be an impetus to people being able to get this done. So we're wanting to remove all of those impediments so that way they can get in here and take care of themselves.
Guys, they have a beautiful facility in town. You need to go by and see it for yourself, and you start that process by calling Sean or one of his team members at 615-436-1000 to schedule your appointment today. 615-436-1000. Sean, it's good to speak with you again. I look forward to seeing you next time, and we'll be back in contact really, really soon. And best of luck to you, and thank you for what you do for our community, man.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There's Sean with Craft Body Scan. Good guy, good people over there. Go by and see them, craftbodyscan.com or 615-436-1000. Back in a moment, one more hour to go. Cameron Smith is with us. He'll give us his take on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think I might know what it is. I think I might know. We'll find out together on Super Talk.
Two o'clock, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Right now, looking like 78 degrees or 82 degrees here in Nashville. We've got a weather forecast coming your way in about 2 minutes. A school shooting, a middle school in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, had an active shooter on campus today. They say they did neutralize the suspect. Authorities said without giving details that the, quote, alleged assailant was harmed, and a witness said she had heard gunshots and seen children running. Officials say that the person did not breach entryway and that officers were scoping out the building to ensure the safety of all students and staff. And we've not gotten any specifics on what exactly transpired or how that shooter was neutralized. No injuries reported, with the exception of that alleged assailant. And Senate Republicans calling on President Biden to speak out against pro-Palestinian protests taking place on college campuses across the country. Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana says what's happening on many college campuses is, quote, rule by the mob.
That's what many of you, not all of you, but many of you would call a threat to democracy if it were being perpetuated by Republicans. Democrats seem to be able to do it without consequence.
And here in Tennessee, the Vanderbilt student group planning a larger demonstration at Centennial Park today at 5:30, which will be open to the general public. In big changes in the United Methodist Church, members at a major conference this morning overwhelmingly voted to reverse a ban on gay clergy. Delegates voted 692 to 51 at their general conference for the first such legislative gathering in 5 years. It removes a rule forbidding self-avowed practicing homosexuals from being ordained or appointed as ministers. Also approved was a measure that forbids penalizing clergy for either performing a same-sex wedding or for refraining from performing one. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin. So you hurt. Where do you hurt? You know, there was a time when if it was spinal in nature, if perhaps you were concerned about your back or your neck or some other bone-related issue, that you knew to go to a chiropractor. But chiropractic care is so much more than that now. Nowadays, with the Dr. Gill Center and the advancements that Dr. Gill personally brought to Middle Tennessee, you can get soft tissue alleviation of pain, and no matter where it hurts, hip, back, neck, knee, elbow, wherever, ankle, it doesn't matter. They can alleviate the pain through their incredible spinal decompression technology or the state-of-the-art Class 5 laser system, the red light therapy, the spinal decompression. It's all there to pinpoint inflammation in the body to reduce swelling and to reduce pain. That's what it's all about. Without having to take pills, without having to pop pills or to be injected by needles or to consider surgery. That should be a last resort. 615-882-4838 is the number. 615-882-4838, the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin. I don't know what exactly has been going on during the break, but there has been some major technological advancement on Super Talk TV that you need to witness for yourself, because Bell has insisted on it. He has moved cameras about. He has moved lighting about. He has made regular adjustments. So if you have not been watching on Super Talk TV and you want to see the brand new Super Talk TV, just tune us in at Super Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, where you can see my lovely face and you can see the ugly mug of Cameron Smith, who joins us in the last hour on these Wednesday visits together. Hello, Cameron. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. My laptop, all I can tell you is my laptop computer is in the way from turning on the guest mic. That's all I can tell you. And I love Bel K like he is my brother or my son. I love him like we are an old married couple. We speak in that language. And like an old married couple, if there's one thing that he does or doesn't do that annoys the heck out of me, it's that.
You're unfortunately...
George Jetson is dead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the seesaws, you must now refer to yourself as Bell. Because reasons, right?
Here, I'm just going to turn that in your face.
Thank you. I have a ring of light upon me. In the seesaws, Cameron Smith occupation zone.
Oh, that's awful. That's too bright for you. That's too much for you.
I'm well lit.
Wait a minute. What is that? What is this?
Cameron Smith occupation zone, right? Like, I can come to your show.
You look like you're fresh off a pro-Hamas rally.
I'm a professional agitator, Matt.
Did you recut your hair?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I'm not cutting at all until November at least.
In fact, I may open it up to the kids in the neighborhood.
You know, is this what?
Come sit and get a buzz. America. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, they're reclassifying pots.
You can go to Columbia and be a weirdo, or come to my backyard and get a haircut. Roll Tide.
You look like a weirdo. But once again, I think that I'm going to complain about the length of my hair so much so over the summer months that there might be some people that vote for Joe Biden just to make me continue growing my hair for the next 4 years.
I'm telling you, cutting off my hair, like, it was sort of a challenge with the boys. They were like, you want to join the pack? I got a buzz. And then I'm like, this is actually kind of nice. I mean... Justine hates it that she likes it. That's my wife. She's like, but I'm like, you like it, don't you? And you hate yourself for it. But
she doesn't like the beard.
No, it's a little too floofy for her. I got to go get
floofy.
Floofy, because the sides. You got to get the sides trimmed.
My grandma had a cat named Floofy.
Well, it looks like I got a cat on my face right about here.
It was actually Fluffy, but
Floofy
for the purposes of the joke. Well, you look great to me.
Thank you, Matt.
You look
too,
fabulous
man.
to me. You and I need to go out and about.
We do.
We need to go shoe shopping.
We should do.
Should I give David a shout out?
You should.
David Parker, big shout out. Big fan of the show, is he?
Yeah. It was awkward. It's always fun to have conversations in the hot tub, which is where I have many great conversations.
Wait, you were talking to him in the hot tub about me?
outside the gym. And
is that why I got tingly the other day?
Yes, you heard
in
us
my
talking.
nether regions.
You heard us talking about Super Talk 99.7 and Matt Murphy.
I thought you were at his shop when you were doing this.
No, man, we're just hanging out. And then I put two and two together, and I'm like, "Are you the David Parker of David Parker Shoes?" And he's like, "The same."
Is that what he said?
Well, not quite like that, but yes.
He's got some great shoes over there, and I need some new Hokas.
Yeah, well, he wanted me to bring you by next time you're around.
I'm around. Let's go.
Okay.
Make it happen. David, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for
and
saying,
I like it whenever
nice things about
whenever y'all see me and you're like, "Hey, but Matt Murphy is he a cool guy? Is he cool?" I'm like, "Really? Okay."
And you're like, "No, he's not.
He's fantastic. He's such a good dude.
He's a moron.
Smells like feet."
Speaking of morons, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, gee.
Just dive right in here. Look at, if everything's going hunky-dory, if we don't have bigger things to worry about, if we are in control of the presidency and the Senate and the House, and we got all of these good conservatives on the Supreme Court, if we want to have these types of fights, let's have at it. Let's go.
Agreed.
Let's make conservatives more conservative again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think, and this is just me talking here, I don't know, guys. I don't think that maybe this is the time to be ousting the Speaker of the House that replaced less than a year ago the ousted Speaker of the House that you ousted for reasons and things that have yet to be clearly defined.
Yeah.
Is that just me?
It's not you. I am that too. Because where it got me, and I've written about this, like, this is dumb. Can we not? But where she really got me was when she had a cutout of Mike Johnson on the Capitol lawn and put a MAGA hat on him. Make the Uniparty great again. And I'm like, just why are you the way you are?
Well, here's the thing. Look, I appreciate that we get frustrated with the Republicans.
Sure.
I appreciate that. And I, like most Americans, find myself getting overly emotional in my frustration that we can't get certain things done about things that very much matter to me. Like, I don't know, national debt.
Yep.
Like prioritizing Ukraine borders over American borders, whatever it might be. I understand that. But if you insist on identifying the Uniparty as something separate and distinct from what you are, then I would encourage, and I'm being serious, Marjorie Taylor Greene and others within Washington, D.C. circles to leave.
Start your own party.
And start your own political party.
Yeah.
If the political party that Mike Johnson represents is not good enough for you, then I think it's high time that you put your money where your mouth is and your boots where your mouth is, and you create your own political party. Yep. And let's let the chips fall within it.
And that probably needs to happen because, I mean, I'm calling her and those folks the Kamikaze Caucus because it's like you're just crashing things for the heck of it. Ask yourself this question. Is Mike Johnson light years more conservative than Kevin McCarthy? Yes, by any stretch of the imagination. If you are mad at him because he put, basically, let's be honest, it's the Ukraine aid vote on the floor. If you're mad at him for that, that's fine. But you're telling me you got a massive upgrade over Kevin McCarthy on so many fronts that almost every Republican cares about, and that over one vote on Ukraine aid, of which there was a clear majority of the House, not of the Republican Party, but of the House, you're willing to boot him. And now, again, I'll ask the question, who's it going to be?
Well, no, and the timing is all wrong. And I understand that this might be a fight worth having. But if you have this fight, if you decide to have this fight right now, and you insist on having it right now, then you're going to lose everything that you claim to be fighting for.
Yeah.
But apparently she doesn't care.
It's because it's not about the team.
But I think this is performative, don't you?
Yes.
I don't think she's going to bring this up. I don't think she's going to bring this up. I think she's doing it because she hasn't had headlines in the last few days. And for those that don't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that she how does the process work?
She has not made her motion privileged yet. So once she attaches privilege, you got like 2 days or something to vote on the thing. right?
So she's thrown the motion on the table, but she's not made it privileged.
Right.
So it can
About
just
a
sit
month
there.
ago, she did that.
And it can just sit there.
Yes, and it gets referred to committee like normal legislation. But once she says my motion is privileged, anybody can do this right now, then they got to vote on it. And that's what I'm concerned about is, I think enough Democrats are going to say, we are so tired of this crap, so like whatever, and then he'll be fine. But then they're going to use that to campaign on. Like, this only helps Democrats because she's thinking, well, I'll show Democrats will come rescue Mike Johnson. And Democrats are going to say, yeah, actually, we're the responsible adults in the room, and the crazy people like her can't be trusted. So don't vote for all these independent candidates.
2666. You should call in, by the way, 2666. You seem very passionate about this. On the membersnutrition.com super text line says, Cameron, you're being dishonest.
About?
Why are you not worried about what's happening in the House? 2666 says, we can do it. We're already losing it. We've not been paying attention. Did you guys even watch all of the video this morning? I did not, by the way. I did not watch any of the video this morning. I don't know what video you're talking about. I don't know. And apparently MAGA stands for Make Ukraine Great Again, not Make Uniparty Great Again. Cameron.
Oh. Well, the acronym's multifaceted. He was talking about the Uniparty, so I just assumed that you.
Well, I don't know what the end game is. If there was an end game, if there is an end game to break some of the establishment cabal in Washington, D.C., I'm all about it. But I don't want to lose. I want to win. Right?
Yeah. You're
I don't want to lose. I want to win.
Well, and
so if you tell me that our quarterback isn't working for the team and that we're going to pull our quarterback out and we're going to do something different, do we have another quarterback or not? I mean, I'm willing to give Will Levis a go.
This is like the special teams coach coming in and trying to replace the quarterback. You're going to be like, okay, stay in your lane, big dog. Like, this is where she does not have any sway in the governing aspects of Washington other than the fact that Republicans have a narrow majority and she's willing to hold folks hostage.
All right, you need to be quiet for a second because Anthony wants to talk because I asked Anthony to call and he's calling. Anthony, you're up, man. I'm glad that you called us. I'm glad you're willing to have the conversation. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Sorry to spam your super text line there.
No, man, you're good. I love it. I love the passion.
Yeah, I do believe that. I think that she's doing a move that necessarily needs to be done, simply because just watching the House operate and the bills that they've been passing, I'm like, I don't know how they think the country can survive until November. And while I get the majority,
I'm only interrupting you because I want to make sure I'm understanding what you just said. So you're not sure the country can survive until November?
Or the Republican Party, if you will. Yes, but yes, the country can. I don't think the country can survive.
What's going to happen to the United States of America before November?
I'm not. Well, in terms of what I'm talking about with the Republican Party, the only party that seems to be trying to save America, while the other party seems to be trying to just give it away to whoever is over in the WF or WHO. They just seem to they seem to want to cede control to whoever is not elected. That's what it seems to me. So, just how they would. I know that the Biden administration is trying to do something with the authority over the WHO for whenever if there's another pandemic, which they seemingly want to plan there's going to be another one. So I'm like, and they want to see authority to give to them, and I'm like, well, that's not how this works. So I wanted the Republicans to fight back on this, but it seems like because of Mike Johnson, he just seems to be just giving over everything to the Democrats. I'm like, that's not what we hired you for.
What is he giving over?
Say again?
What is he giving over?
Yeah, what is he doing to give over power to the Democrats?
And for me, it's when they were doing the bill, nothing in there was helpful for us. Because the entire thing of the spending, and for me, it's just kind of annoying. Like, I'm with Matt on the idea of our debt is insane. I don't know.
I agree. I agree with you 150%. No, I hate when people do that. I agree with you 100% on the funding bill. The question, and frankly, when we get into a better position, if it's time to get rid of Mike Johnson as a result of this vote, then fine. But don't we need to get into a better position before we do that? If we do it now, it's going to blow up on ourselves.
It's possible, but I also think
it's not possible. Tell me what happens that is a good outcome from ousting Mike Johnson.
I do believe we're forgetting that before we got to Mike Johnson, we had like several people before him, and I do believe they have an opportunity to be more united for the ones that went before when they failed to get the votes for it last time.
Tell me the more conservative Republican that we could have gotten as Speaker of the House.
Before Mike Johnson, I believe to me, it seemingly on first glance, it seemed like it would be Jim Jordan. But
didn't get the votes.
Jim Jordan could not get the votes.
I remember that. Yes, but I'm saying that was back then.
Yeah, but
considering now,
but Anthony, with all due respect, the people that voted the representatives that voted the way they did count as much as we do. I mean, I'm just working through the process that our founding fathers created, right? And the process involves being able to get the number of votes necessary to become Speaker. And I would love Jim Jordan as Speaker of the House. I would be an advocate for Jim Jordan as Speaker of the House. I mean, the only person that I can think of that I would love more than Jim Jordan as Speaker of the House is Matt Murphy. but I don't think I could get the votes either.
But neither could Steve Scalise, neither could Tom Emmer. I mean, there were a number of folks that were in line. They couldn't get it. So I can just tell you that dynamic has not changed. So who's the new candidate that's going to get the votes?
I remember a lot of them were all like. Do you all remember that we had like several quote unquote rhinos that were pretty much being petty and left before after this happened? So I don't know if those numbers would still be significant enough to not replace the new speaker.
Do you think? I think because I get I swing back and forth like a pendulum. I get so frustrated with the establishment Republicans, and I just get beside myself. And you probably listen to me, Anthony. You hear that. But at the same time, I recognize that if we're playing a game of chess right now, now's not the time to kamikaze my rook down to the end of the board and watch it get destroyed by the other squad, right? So my question is then how best to play this to the advantage of the American people, to the advantage of conservatives, to the advantage of libertarians. Anthony, my question is, what should we do now in advance of November? Do you think it's best if she calls the vote and we lose Mike Johnson? And that's fine. I mean, if the answer is yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm asking.
In my opinion, yes, but this is why I'm not up there. So I believe it's one of those things where the people that are up there, they know the game better than I do. So I will leave it to my representative, and they can make that. I can express myself as I'm doing now, or not.
No, it's great. No, I love it, and that's what we're here for. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And thank you, Anthony, for expressing it.
Thank you.
And by the way, Anthony, before you go, would you be in favor of? Oh, Anthony left. That's too bad. Would you be in favor of a third party? Was the question, Anthony? You can answer on the super text line if you want to. Would you be in favor? Is the Republican Party schism so great? Are the establishments so apart from the anti-establishment Republicans that they need to branch?
I mean,
you're going to lose for a while if you do that. You know that.
You've got to pick up the double haters, right? At some point, this is a term of art. These are the people that hate Trump and Biden. They're the people that are like, oh, RFK maybe. Like, that's the crew that you got to go get if you want to split off, because presumably it's not the establishment that's like, hey, we're going to leave.
I mean, at some point, as you go to the margins, you either, to pick up votes, have to circle back to the other side.
Right.
Or you're just going to become a non-factor. This is what the libertarians never could figure out in terms of being a politically viable party, which is why I call myself a libertarian with a small L. It's because I don't want to be associated with them because they're losers. I mean, they're losers. I love you. I believe in the things that you believe in, but from a political standpoint, libertarians can never get out of their own way. And sadly, I'm watching conservatism become more libertarian every single day. And I'm thinking, boy, you could have picked up on all of that, but you decided not to because you were so damn purity.
Did you see where Trump's actually going to speak at the Libertarian Convention?
Good. That's good. I like that.
That seems a little odd to me, though.
What do you mean?
Because, granted, they're not going to make a dent because they never do. But why would you go and rally your opponents?
VOTES.
Yep. You think that
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Vote. You feel like you can pick them up.
Well, and you got to pay attention because some of them are looking at RFK and they're like, maybe that guy.
And
that'll hurt him.
That's a really good point.
224 Super Talk 99.7 WT. And Craig and John, we've inspired you, and I would love to hear from you. Is it time to create a third party? Do you just dismiss MTG for what she is? Cameron Smith continues to talk to us. It's very difficult to talk to Cameron considering the haircut that he's got sporting right now. It's 224 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
President Biden being briefed on these pro-Palestinian protests that are going on around the nation. An active investigation here in Tennessee after a burglary, and federal officials say the risk to the public from bird flu. Well, we'll tell you what the risk is. 2:30
why
Super
don't you
Talk.
tell us? Why don't you tell us what the risk is? Why don't you make us wait? And by the way, I'm mad at you. That's why I'm interrupting your news tease. I'm mad at you.
Why?
I'm upset with you.
What did I do?
I'm frustrated with you because I bring a gift to the table earlier today, and after Mac Morey and Chris Hand discussed the willingness to receive said gift, I bring gift, and you're like, nah, I'm good.
No.
I thought you were in.
No, I'm in.
I thought you were.
I'll take it.
You'll take it.
I will.
Will you display it?
What the hell gift are you talking about? Oh, the bobblehead?
It's the bobblehead, the Ron Gant bobblehead.
Yeah, I'll display it.
On the day that...
Right next to my signed Travis Kelce jersey and my signed Patrick Mahomes picture and Lynn Dawson and Dante Hall. I'll get it next
Lynn
to
Dawson.
Nerd.
Lynn Dawson, one of the greatest photographs in NFL history.
Yeah, baby.
Lynn Dawson was it, a soda? He was drinking like a Coke.
I think it was a squirt and a cigarette.
A squirt, and he's smoking a cigarette in uniform, all sweaty. Great picture. Great photo. That's when men were men. Sheep were nervous. Okay, so Cameron Smith is with us, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Who did you tell me to go to? Line 1?
No, Dan. Go to Dan.
Oh, Dan's been trying to get through. Dan, thank you for your call. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, love you guys. Great show, as always. Just want to say, and I know we want to find out, what does Free Palestine mean and all of those other things. Those are, those questions are really irrelevant when the people just want to shout you down. So for them, the topic could be blueberries. It could be giraffes. It could be pygmies. All they care about is getting people out to vote. So this didn't happen 3 months ago. It didn't happen 6 months ago. We know what happened with Code Pink. We know what happened with Occupy Wall Street. We know what happened with Black Lives Matter. I told people 4 years ago, I said, right before the election, there will be a movement. So the goal of the movement is one thing: get college students, angry white single females, poor people, and people of a particular color to get motivated to come out and vote. If they don't come out and vote, the Democrats lose. All it is a goal to get people angry and to be excited and to get one another to come out and vote. That is the only reason. There's nothing else.
And you depend on the stupidity of the general population that you're asking to go and vote.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the Democrats are.
No, I think that's the correct assessment.
Yeah, that checks out.
I mean, that checks. You're right. It's the same. It's the same. You might as well be yelling, "No justice, no peace."
Sure.
You could be yelling 7-Eleven, muffins, birthday cakes, Tooth Fairy. It doesn't matter. They want to get angry. They want to get their people to vote. If they don't do it right before the election, the people don't remember. They don't go out and vote. You get them really angry and upset, and to get one another together and to do rallies and to fight back, because when they do that, they vote. If you do it a year ago, they all forget.
No, it's to create. Well, I think if I don't disagree with the assessment. I think they're taking advantage. Some of these AstroTurf organizers are taking advantage of the timing here, but I think the timing's too soon. I think you're reaching a crescendo way too early. If this were happening in September, I think the timing might be a little more dangerous. It's not. Because these people will fade away. But I don't disagree that what you're creating, I'll let you speak on this in just a second because I've got to go to Mac, but I do believe that you're creating this faux outrage to create some sort of energy where there exists none in the younger generations for Joe Biden and his re-election chances. It's 2:32, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.233, and we got those summer-like temperatures today, 85 degrees and sunny outside here on Music Row. Got a weather forecast 2 minutes away. The White House says President Biden is being briefed on ongoing pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses across the country. Karen Travers brings us the latest.
The White House would not say if President Biden supports police operations to clear out protesters who have occupied buildings on college campuses and whether that's an appropriate response. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre deferred to school administrators and local officials. But of the demonstrators, she said,
they have the right to peacefully protest as long as it's within the law and that it's peaceful. Forcibly taking over a building is not peaceful. It's just not.
Right now in Nashville, Metro Police investigating after a woman claims she caught a neighbor holding her underwear after a burglary at the Noah Landings Apartments on Murfreesboro Pike. Channel 4 reports that a woman told officers as she returned to her apartment, the man was leaving holding her underwear. Police arrested 22-year-old Wilmer Lopez, and he remains in custody on a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement hold. And federal officials say the risk to the public from bird flu remains low. Brian Clark has the latest.
36 livestock herds across 9 states have been infected with bird flu, but federal officials said Wednesday meat and dairy remain safe. Federal officials said they've sampled nearly 300 different dairy products and found no viable virus. That means it's not possible to get sick from eating the products. No virus fragments were found in powdered milk or powdered formula.
And that is the latest news. Got a weather forecast on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
I love finding good companies and telling you about said good companies. And I found one in U.S. Pest. Of course, many of you already know what a fabulous company U.S. Pest Protection truly is. If you go to uspest.com, you'll find out even more. J.K. and Erica, the owners of U.S. Pest, a tandem, a team destined to eliminate pests in your home, to eliminate creepy crawlies in your home. And they're also pretty funny people. Have you seen their cicada game online? If you go to U.S. Pest, follow them on Facebook and see the cicada game that they're rocking. It's pretty solid. I mean, because they have identified, they know that cicada season is coming, and that's a part of the creepy crawlies that you want to keep out of your home, whether it's cicadas or roaches or spiders or termites or any other kind of bugs. You need U.S. Pest in your life. USPest.com. That's USPest.com. Join them on Facebook. I've been forwarding some of their cicada commentary, and it's pretty funny. 590-1260. That's 615-590-1260. Get yourself protected with U.S. Pest. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, then you already know that I have a nice full head of hair. I've talked about growing my hair out until the next presidential election. Well, my hair is thicker and fuller than it's been in a long time. Thank you to PAI Medical. I went and talked to Katie, Alex, and the rest of the crew over at PAI and the We Grow Hair folks. And I said, would you guys check me out? Make sure that I'm A-okay, because the last thing I need is hair loss because I'm ugly as it is. And they said, you know what? You look pretty good, Murph, but you might be thinning around the crown a little bit. We might be seeing the beginnings of thinning. And so what we want to do for you is give you our FDA-approved laser treatment to make sure that your hair is as thick and as full as it can possibly be and to prevent further hair loss. And that's just what I'm doing. Get on the front end of this, no matter where you are with regard to your hair loss. Go get a free consultation today and learn more about their incredible options that they have. Whether you are a full head of hair and you want to make sure that it stays that way, like me, or if you're already losing a little bit, they are the only clinic in Nashville with all of the proven medical solutions, and they have their trademarked multi-unit hair grafting procedure. It is We Grow Hair at WeGrowHair.com. That's WeGrowHair.com. 615-376-6010. 376-6010. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, and we were just talking during the break about movies. Belle Kay and I were comparing notes on Late Night with the Devil, which I saw in theaters, and I thought it was fabulous. I agree with you that the weakest part was right. The ending was the weakest part. Up until that point, it was as comparable of a psychological horror film as, I thought it was Silence of the Lambs worthy almost.
And the thing is it wasn't some giant budget movie, but I thought they did a phenomenal job with the 70s look of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And just the solid acting that you got out of everybody. They just did good performances.
By the way, do you know that guy's backstory?
Who?
The lead actor?
No.
I forget his name. He was strung out on drugs, homeless, and destitute. Absolutely destitute. Depended on homeless shelters to get him back from certain death. I mean, he was a drug addict. If you find an opportunity to watch his story, he gave a speech some years ago, and I think it was Washington, D.C., about his heroin addiction.
Wow.
It's an incredibly compelling testimony.
Well, I just have some breaking news off X. 1,766 civilians died in the NYPD airstrike on Columbia University Hamilton Hospital, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health. It's big if hashtag big if true.
Gaza Ministry.
The Gaza Ministry of Health.
That's funny.
So clearly satire, people.
Yes, obviously. I was going to tell you though, Belle, before we get back to Cameron Smith, the one movie that I'm looking forward to. I don't know why. I want to see Unfrosted. I do.
Well, I know exactly why I want to see that.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Because, it's Seinfeld and the man's hilarious.
It's Silence of the Lambs level praise. That's pretty significant.
Plus,
that's how much I like that movie.
The Seinfeld movie, the people that he has acting in that movie, like a who's who of comedy.
Have you heard about this Unfrosted that's coming? It's Seinfeld. His
directorial debut.
He has made up and written a backstory as to how he got the Pop-Tart.
Yes,
and
I have seen
pretends that there was this big war regarding the Pop. Have you seen the trailer where the Pop-Tart people bring Jerry Seinfeld in and sit him down and talk to him about trademarked material and the unauthorized use of trademarked material?
I did, but I'd have to watch it again.
It's like the CEO of Pop-Tarts, and he's got Tardy, the Pop-Tart, standing next to him. And he's like, show him, Tardy. And he's like, it's very funny. Just look it up. Okay, are you serious that you're going to eat cicadas?
I want to think about it. Like, I don't know if I can find enough.
Will you do it on the radio?
If I can find enough soft-shell cicadas, then I'll do that.
What do you mean soft-shelled cicadas?
So all the recipes say once they're hardened and they have the red eyes and they're black, that they're not good to eat. They're just kind of crunchy. I guess you could roast them or something. But apparently when they're white, right, when they come out of their shell, they're kind of gross looking, you can blanch them and freeze them, and then you do them like a stir-fry, and they say it tastes like soft-shell crab.
I want to apologize to all of you that have reached out to me over this last 2.5 years that I've had Cameron Smith on, who have called him a communist, and I've fought back against you, and I've said, no, Cameron's not a communist. I was wrong, everyone. Apparently Cameron is a communist because he wants to eat bugs.
That's what draws the line, cicada eating.
Would you eat a cicada?
I mean, for the pure shock value alone, probably.
You just want to do it in front of your boys?
Yeah.
Do you think your boys would do it if you did it?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they like they like to up the ante, and I'm there for that. But like, you know, that's the thing. Like, I'll catch a fly out of midair and then act like I popped it in my mouth, and freaks them out. It's great. Keeps them on their toes.
Such a dad joke.
It's great.
There are recipes that are popping around the internet for cicadas. There was a cicada dip that I saw.
That's where to blend them up.
What do you mean? That's where you draw the line?
Cicada hummus. Just grind them up real fine.
It's what it looked like. You know what I draw the line? You know where I draw my line?
Bugs.
Eating bugs. That's where I draw my line. I'm not eating bugs.
And I'm not I've eaten like, the grasshopper, stuff like that. I ate a scorpion lollipop once.
You ever eat the worm?
Again, tequila?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, by the time you get to the end of the bottle,
I'm impervious.
I would eat the bottle.
I'm pretty much bulletproof at that point.
I would eat the bottle if you asked me to.
Here, shoot me just once.
John has more serious matters to discuss regarding the House of Representatives and MTG. John, you're up. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. I wanted to mention, I think that Trump may have a problem with some of these supporters when it comes to the Freedom Caucus. The MPGs out there, Lauren Boebert, there's a lot of MAGA followers that absolutely love them and their brand of politics. And I have been a supporter of them. But what I don't understand about this situation is trying to get rid of Speaker Johnson and then ushering in Hakeem Jeffries or someone of his ilk. And, back to my thought, I think Trump supported Johnson and his latest legislation. But I think that if MTG would blow up Speaker Johnson, there may be those in the Freedom Caucus who may turn against Trump.
I don't know.
I think he's got the Freedom Caucus.
I don't see how who would they vote for? Just not vote?
Well, there was discussion about a third party or a subsequent conservative party.
Yeah, I don't see it in time for this election. I think the Freedom Caucus is pretty squarely in Trump land because Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, those folks all owe their political prospects to Trump, and they all the time talk about that affinity. It's a little weird that they're not listening to him and standing down on this. But
I think she will, though. I think it's performative.
I hope she does. I hope you're right. But, she's like, no, I'm super double serious this time. We've been doing that for a month. So
okay. Well, we'll wait to see.
Fair.
Unless she, and thanks, John, for the call, unless she knows that the Democrats will come out and save the speaker, and that will make him look even weaker. If her purpose is to attack him personally, maybe she can accomplish that, and the country be damned.
But just run this through, which I know this is not, the Kamikaze Caucus does not do this. Okay, let's just say 100 Republicans defect, and then Democrats keep Mike Johnson in office. Then what? What do we do? This ends up, any way you slice it, being rough for Republicans, advantage Democrats. Show me where it's advantage Republican.
Well, I'm looking at my screen right now, and it says that sources say that GOP leadership has a plan to prevent the ouster of Mike Johnson. I don't know what that is.
Well, they're going to lock MTG in a trunk somewhere. It's a privileged motion, so if they've got votes from the Democrats, they don't need that many.
By the way, you have managed to do something that normally you can't accomplish during your weekly appearances on the show.
Which is what?
You've unified the audience on one point.
Which is what?
You're gross.
Well, that's fair. Cicadas, like
on your cicadas.
If the audience was like,
Members Nutrition Super Text Line, Universal.
Tell me your recipes. That's the person I'm worried about.
Now, Dallas may be the outlier. He says, hey, Matt, what about shrimp and crawfish? Do you eat those? They're bugs. The answer is no. I don't eat crawfish at all. I think anyone that eats crawdads or crawfish, you're being performative in
They're
nature.
all related.
As well.
They got an exoskeleton.
But as far as shrimp goes, I will eat shrimp if someone, and this is going to sound so elitist.
You and your elitist non-shrimp eating self.
I need someone else to peel them for me. If they're pre-peeled, I'm all good. I like the taste and the texture.
I'll
and the
eat
flavor.
any shrimp. Don't care if they're poopy.
That has got to be one of the most girl things I have ever heard. I
don't know. I don't want to take the effort. I don't want to.
Does Erica peel them?
No.
Good.
No.
My respect for that woman is now exponentially increased.
I will do it, but I don't want to do it. I would prefer, if you ask me, hey, you want shrimp or you want steak? I will ask, are the shrimp peeled?
I actually prefer my shrimp with the head on so I can rip them off and act like I'm eating little aliens.
And put them on your finger.
Exactly.
You people that suck the heads of crawfish, stop.
That's special.
Just stop it. You're doing it so everyone else around you goes, ew, just stop it.
Yeah, well, I stopped aging at about 12 and was like, well, that makes them laugh a little bit, so whatever. But sucking the head out of a bug is weird.
Well, you and I were talking about it all there. You know what? My grandpa ate pig's feet.
Yes,
my grandfather ate chicken feet. My grandfather ate tripe. My grandfather ate chitlins. You know why? Because he had to.
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah, my wife comes from the Pennsylvania Dutch that were incidentally German, which is hilarious. But these folks, they'd eat whatever. They don't care.
Scrapple.
Yeah.
I know scrapple.
They're like, pigtail.
What's scrapple?
Let's eat it.
You don't know scrapple? I'll bring you some scrapple.
Trapple.
It's
trapple.
It's
scrapple, tripe, souse.
It's guts.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know it.
It's like it's guts put together in a loaf.
Gut loaf.
It's gut loaf.
It is. It's the best way to put it.
Meat.
Yeah, it's a delicacy, Bell.
And what? 9365. You're going to take my man card because I won't eat shrimp? I want my shrimp peeled for me? Okay, take my man card, but you come take my man card out of my dead shrimpy hands.
I like the jumbo cocktail shrimp. Of course you would.
Goodbye. Say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
We'll be back in a moment. Winding down this edition of the Matt Murphy Show, a midweek edition. Thanks to Cameron Smith for stopping by. Representative Afton Ben was a no-show. I'm very disappointed by that. She was expressing support for the Vanderbilt encampment, and we were hopeful to get her conversation on the record on air. Brian Wilson is on the record. I don't know if Brian Wilson has seen a cicada or not as of yet. We were discussing with Cameron the cicadas, Brian.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I just, before I came back up to the studio to get ready for the show, did a walk around the vast Wilson compound, and I have not seen one cicada or heard one. So I heard they're coming out in Murfreesboro and other places, but here in Watertown, at least in my neighborhood, no cicadas as yet.
More importantly, regarding the property that is Wilson Manor, what is you know what I'm going to ask? What is the robin situation right now, Brian?
Well, no. See, I have a solution, and it's working. We tried snakes. We tried clipping back the branches, but I had this robin just kept slamming into my studio window. It wouldn't give up. Cabana wife went back and got our Christmas decorations and pulled up a life-size cutout of Buddy the Elf and put it in the window, and we haven't seen that robin in 3 days.
That's good.
That's glorious.
Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf is terrifying to robins, apparently.
Well,
people have been great. They've been giving me all these ideas. Use aluminum foil or aluminum pans, or, get some kind. There's apparently a very shiny ribbon you hang on trees, and it chases the robins away. But somebody actually dropped off a whole bag of rubber snakes on my front door, just to make sure, that I could try that.
The people of Watertown, man.
Yeah, I got the best neighbors ever. But
I love you.
We didn't find that the rubber snakes did any good.
Well, that's unfortunate for the rubber snake industry, but I'm glad that you had Buddy the Elf at your side. Brian, we have run out of time. We're going to have to wait to find out what's happening on the drive when the drive starts.
Just
How about
know
that?
It's good stuff.
Well, we know it's good stuff. It's good stuff every day. The drive coming up with Brian Wilson right after the news with Mac Morey. And Mac Morey's coming up right now with the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have a wonderful afternoon, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.